Hi there. In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health, and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis, and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset, and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi there, and welcome to this week's episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. Today I have the lovely Jane with me. Now, Jane is originally from Yorkshire and she now lives in Nottingham. Jane has just released a book called Rocking with the Reaper, and that was published in December 2020. It was her first book. Now, Jane's had quite a varied life, and that has actually led to her writing the book that she released. I won't tell you too much about it. Jane can explore that a little bit further with you, but it is actually something that's quite humorous. Some things in the book that make you laugh, some things that make you think and ponder, some things that make you cry maybe. So there's lots of emotions in this book, and Jane is with me today to talk about her book and what she does and how she got to where she is today. So without further ado, I will be introducing Jane to you. So hi Jane, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. How are you doing, my dear?
Yeah, a bit colder, been a bit chilly, hasn't it? But apart from that,
is it still snowing up there?
But
is it snowing up north?
No, it's sunny today. Beautiful blue sky.
Oh, it's a bit grey down here, but we don't really get snow on the Isle of Wight, so unfortunately, no.
Yeah, although it was pretty. We did have some last week. Gorgeous. Such a stillness, especially with no planes going over and.
It feels really calm, doesn't it? And kind of magical when it snows. I think that's why I like it so much, because it muffles the noise, but it just makes a different feeling, doesn't it? So
I didn't enjoy skidding in my car very much. Not far, it was only a little one. But when it just goes and you think, oh, this could go anywhere.
Yes, I remember the days, but never mind. Not anymore. Very, very rare we get it down here, but still. So, Jane, we're talking today about your life, how it's progressed, your new book you had released, and how it all came about to that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got here? Not necessarily from birth. So let's start a little bit further forward from that. I don't want to go. So what actually led you to where you are now and the things that you're doing with your life?
Well, I suppose, it did start when I was born into a quite traumatised Yorkshire family. So, I wonder if that does relate to my health, actually, all the cortisol that were going around as a kid. Mum was stressed out by it. She'd had a lot of trauma. Maybe. Anyway, so, it does probably start there. But it probably starts when I was 31. I was a social worker, came to Nottingham from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
When I was 18. Did a social studies degree and got woken up to what's happening with the world and human nature, and is it nature and is it nurture, and all that stuff really interested me.
Yeah.
My mum was strict Baptist, so I've been brought up with this notion of us being worthless sinners.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Always good for the mental health.
Good for your guilt. Yes, I loved this degree, and then went into social work. Did a decade social work nearly, and of course, child protection, absolute living nightmare.
Oh.
I'd just done 2 years of an MA in psychotherapy because I wanted to get out of. I thought, well, what's the best bit of social work? Well, it's the contact with people. It's when I'm doing the sort of counselling stuff. That's what I love,
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll do a psychotherapy training. So trying to do full-time social work and a psychotherapy degree, which blew my brain emotionally and mentally,
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Ended up just imploding and ended up in hospital.
So that's great. You were actually studying about mental health, and it had that effect on you.
Well, I wasn't taking any notes. I was studying it, but not taking care of myself.
No,
the classic. When I say it started at birth, I suppose the classic stoic. You just get on with it.
Yeah.
I had asked to go to 4 days. Actually, I was working full time, and I did ask to reduce my hours at work, but I couldn't. So I just, got on with it. Ignored my body.
Stiff upper lip and all that.
Exactly,
Mm.
stoic. You just get on with it. You know, two granddads who've gone through world wars. You don't mess about when you've done that.
No.
Mm. So yeah, I started off with my ovary bleeding a bit randomly, and again, I wonder about the psychosomatic stuff. Having just met somebody
Mm.
6 weeks previously that I thought I could maybe settle down with. I'd known him a while, and we just got together. Yeah, so random ovary. They didn't know why. Random ovary bursting, internal bleeding, two
Mm.
operations. Because of the operations and giving, I'd been on water. It started when I was 21, actually, with DVTs in my legs.
Also,
Um,
we're fast backtracking 10 years now.
yeah, back 10 years to a
Okay.
DVT when I was revising for the A levels. Which
Okay.
again, you wonder about the stress impact. You
So
wonder about,
DVT, that's deep vein thrombosis, right?
yeah, that's right, in my
Okay.
right leg. Yeah,
I thought that was only a thing you got when you got on a plane.
yeah, that's what the doctors thought as well, and didn't diagnose it for ages. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I didn't know you could just randomly get it.
well, I know, it's a bit bizarre, but I do, like I say, I wonder about the stress of doing A levels and maybe a bit of self sabotage. My mum didn't want me to go away, and I was planning to move away to Nottingham. So I do
Ah,
wonder if on
okay.
some deep level I was trying to bloody stop myself. I'll stop the joy, I'll stop the excitement, because I was
Could
all of
be.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Self-sabotage
interesting.
is a bit sneaky.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
absolutely. And then I got a second DVT a few years later with the love of my life in Austria on a beach, just having the time of my life. And again, I think God was all that a bit too much and a bit of a nudist beach, so I shouldn't have been doing that. God wouldn't have been happy with that.
No, it was punishment.
Well, I wonder. I do wonder. Yeah. So more self-sabotage, perhaps, because I was really happy. Loved this guy, and a great time. Anyway,
Self-sabotage
but
if you didn't think you deserved to be happy, I guess.
well, and I wonder if I didn't. I wonder again, going
Yeah.
back to the family, two world wars, the amount of survivor guilt that must have come out of that, and then
Yeah, you don't know,
being
do you?
poor working class, what the hell do you deserve? I mean, deep stuff. Rest at world starving, so how could I be happy?
Hmm.
Obviously I've been brought up with, look after everybody else before yourself. So yeah,
Yeah.
really, really deep stuff about, you know, not getting, and of course getting excited as a kid. What happened? Poor mum and dad with their shot nerves. We got excited and they started going crazy. So we had to shut up
Oh
and
dear.
be good and be quiet.
Hmm.
So being excited, being happy. Yeah, I wonder if there is some sort of was some internal kickback.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Yorkshire. My parents weren't like that. Mind you,
Ah, okay.
my granddad didn't go into the war because he worked for a place called Slingsby's. I don't know if you probably heard of Slingsby's.
No, what's that?
It is like a something to do with metalworks and stuff. So he was
Ah,
classed as an
okay.
essential worker here. So he didn't go to war.
Ah.
My dad was born just as it was born in 1945. So he was born just as it ended. So he didn't have to do anything like that. So that was never really a thing in our family. We never
Mm,
had that
mm,
background, if you like,
yeah.
to
Ah,
shape our
yeah, yeah.
childhood. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it's
I'm intrigued. I am
yeah.
intrigued.
I mean,
Just, yeah, they're
I
all
mean, I'm an only child, but I was very close to my cousins growing up because they were only
okay.
children as well.
Right.
And oh God, can you hear that helicopter? I hope not.
No, I can't.
Oh, that's all right then.
No.
No, I just saw you looking out the window. Then
Oh,
you're like, I can't. No, but
no,
anyway.
no.
So yeah, it was. Yeah, we had quite a. We were allowed to get excited and stuff, and my
Mm,
parents weren't mega church goers. My mum
mm,
liked to go to church, but
mm.
my dad said that God probably wouldn't let him in because he was a devil. But he's lovely, my dad. But
Oh,
he said he's a bad un, so he's not allowed in church. But
oh, bless.
yeah, so maybe that has a difference between us.
Well, maybe
It's the way
I
you're
do
raised.
wonder. I really do wonder the impact of them wars, and how could you come back after seeing half your peers blood swell and not feel bad for being happy or not. And like my great granddad, he went to the Boer War and the First World War actually, Sergeant Major, so God knows what he had to do.
Hmm. How
And
can you be happy when other people have lost people they
yeah,
love? Yeah.
apparently he spent the rest of his life sitting on a hard wooden chair in the kitchen with his whisk tobacco on the table and never went out. Just went out once a year to the poppy parade, to earn money for the troops
Wow.
and to go to local shop occasionally to put a bet on horses. And apparently that was it. So he didn't have fun. And then my great granddad, he
That's
lived in
sad,
a
isn't it?
miserable old house cut out into bloody hillside on the main road for God knows how many years, when he could have afforded to move, but didn't. It's like, well, was that again? How can I live in a big fine house when I've just seen so many people die? So I don't know. I know I've got a bit of survivor guilt, I think, from being in hospital and seeing other people die. So God knows what it must be like seeing all those people die. So horrible.
Yeah, so you had all these, you had your DVT twice, you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
breast ovary, and
That's right.
then
So they put me on
yeah,
warfarin when I had my DVTs to keep my blood safe. And
okay,
so
cool.
so when I came to the operations to sort out the internal bleeding, they had to thin and then thicken my blood, or thicken and then thin my blood out again. They used heparin. I had a terrible reaction to heparin. Ended up with my blood just going absolutely weird,
Oh
clotting,
no.
bleeding. Couldn't really figure it out. And then I got pneumonia, and then it was just this downhill slope from there, really.
And this was all the same period, I guess, when you're 30s, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, 31, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, blood clotted, got pneumonia, couldn't breathe, ended up on a ventilator through my 31st birthday, bless them. HDU had made me a
Nice.
lovely cake and I missed a lot.
Oh, that was nice of them.
It was real. I mean, God, the care that I received was amazing, beautiful, wonderful. And again, that reinforced my view that we're not worthless sinners, but born with hearts.
Yeah. So how did that affect your relationship? Because you said you just got back with a guy that you were in love with. Did that survive?
Well, it survived throughout hospital. And there were lots of talk of us getting married, and he was a yoga teacher, so we were going to set up a therapeutic community together, me being a therapist and all that.
Oh.
But yeah, it were all a bit too much. The pressure got to us, I think. So it all ended up about a year after I came out of hospital, I think.
Oh.
Me trying to say, look, just tell me how you feel. If you can't cope with it, oh, that's fine. Just let me know.
Yeah.
And I think he probably couldn't, because he would have felt bad, I guess. Someone so vulnerable ending a relationship, it's not easy, is it?
No, but you could have pushed him away as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I think I was pushing him away. I was being critical. He was being critical. We were both just pushing each other away, and ended up with a massive fight, shall we say.
Okay, so that ended. What did you do after that, my darling?
So I'd spent 7 months in Queens. So a couple of years recovering. I looked like a Belisha Beacon when I came out. I'd had chemo. I'd had God knows what, because it went on and on.
Why did you have chemo? You didn't mention anything to do with that.
Yeah, because they didn't know what to do. My autoimmune system was just going crazy. So I'd had blood clots everywhere. I'd had major organ failure because of the blood clots. I'd been kicked out of intensive care with 10 hours to live.
Oh.
And survived. Yeah, and then a massive brain hemorrhage where my eyes were popping out my bloody head like 2 pieces of liver. I mean, just you name it, I had it. And it was a miracle that I came out at all, an absolute miracle.
So they gave you chemo just for a bit of extra spice, did they?
It was just a last case resort. What is it? That this phrase, last case resort. Does that make sense?
Last resort, isn't it? It's the last resort.
Yeah. My doctor came in and said, look, we don't know what's going on really. Your autoimmune system seems to be going crazy. Your platelets are off the place. No, blood cells are the raw. We're going to give you chemo. But the honest truth is, I don't know if it's going to kill you or cure you.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was an interesting time, actually, because you'd imagine that would be the worst time of my life, wouldn't you?
Quite probably.
Yeah, and that'd be miserable as sin. But actually, I was sitting there in my big green hospital chair with my heart completely open, loving everybody, and just feeling this immense sense of wonder and awe. I was looking out a window, looking at the clouds on the 4th floor in Queens Hospital. Looked out the window at the clouds, and it was a grey day. It wasn't even a beautiful day, but this cloud went past the window and just completely blew my mind. Like, my God, that cloud's just, developed from the sea or the rivers, and it's floating around, and it's going to rain on a field that's going to rain on these tiny little seeds that are going to grow into these crops, and these farmers are going to, cut the crops, and then there'll be delivery people, and there'll be people on the oil rigs getting the oil for the vans, and all these people behind me. So even though, I've sat there in a little hospital room, miserable as sin in terms of being on my own, but the recognition that all these people were behind me every single day and behind all of us, and this whole connection. And just feeling so grateful.
That's really cool,
grateful.
actually.
Yeah, even though I were, and just like I say, an absolute wonder and awe at the world, and the miracle that it is. And the miracle that my body is, despite the fact that it were crooks.
Mm.
So that was an amazing experience. And also when I died, I had this incredible experience. Well, when I died, when I was given 10 hours to live and being whisked off when I couldn't breathe. So like I said, I got pneumonia and my oxygen levels have been going down and down and down.
Mm.
And I knew that I was in trouble when they called the intensive care team. I knew that I was dying. They were going to put me in a respirator. And you'd think at that point, well, I was panicking because I was thinking, shit, my mum and dad are going to be gutted. And boyfriend, I was thinking about all these other people being upset. My friends.
Dad would be gutted.
Yeah.
Oh, devastated, but not gutted. You're just like, oh, they'd be so upset. Yeah, they'd be gutted that that happened. But it's like,
yeah, they would. They'd have been absolutely devastated. My brother, But for me, I was like, well, I should be upset. I like being Janie. Why aren't I upset? But I wasn't upset. I just felt this incredible love, peace, connection. I sort of pictured the solar system and just thought, well, I am that solar system. And this notion of being a little wave in the ocean. So you might just be a little wave crashing, but you're still a part of the ocean.
Yeah,
and that's
definitely.
exactly how it felt,
Yeah.
And then I woke up in intensive care about a week later thinking, yes, I didn't meet Lucifer.
Is that why you thought you were going down south?
So having had that for 20 years, 30 years, strict Baptist bloody sinner. Yeah, I did think I was going to hell.
Oh, going down to the fiery pits of hell.
Yeah, it was.
It's warm down there,
It was a relief that I'd not met,
Yeah.
I just had a different view of the whole thing, really.
I like how some people say, like, like this. Well, we're all connected. I know that, and the universe is in all of us. And I remember somebody saying once, like, if you look at the eye, if you look really closely at the eye, like the different shapes and like colors in it and stuff, it actually looks like a mini universe.
Does that?
It actually looks like with a black hole in the middle and the universe around it. It's like really yeah. And they do say that the eyes are the what was it? Is it
gateway
to the soul? So yeah, the universe is there. It's all like, it all comes together, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. So you survived.
I came out of hospital. Sorry, just to say, there's a very nice Jehovah's Witness came around one day, and I said, look, I really appreciate you trying to save myself. I think it's amazing that you're walking the streets with, trying to help people. I said, but I've got my own version of God, really. I've got my own beliefs. She says, oh, what are they, love? I says, well, I believe I am God. Went scuttling off down the street with me shouting after her, yeah, but I believe you're God too. I just think we're all a little part of God, She went in.
Oh, I bet she didn't like that. God, Jehovah's Witnesses, I haven't seen those for years. We used to get Mormons as well that came to our house.
Okay.
But they always knocked on the doors when I was younger, but I don't know, maybe they're not allowed.
Well, I haven't had one since.
No, I don't. I
Funnily enough,
seen one of any religion knocking on doors recently. Maybe maybe they had to stop it. I don't know.
I guess it can be. Yeah.
When I was younger, there was always a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon at the door.
Yeah.
At some point, knocking and but I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, digressing there. But so you came out, you survived, obviously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have.
And I can't tell you how lucky I feel.
No,
every single day.
Yeah. And so this sort of all led you to the book that you wrote. So it's Rocking with the Reaper.
Rocking with the Reaper.
That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought I said it wrong then. I was like, oh.
No, that's right.
So I came with that. Let's start with that, shall we?
Why did I call it that? Because God, because death gets me up every morning. A lot more, because I'm on kidney dialysis now and I've been on it for 10 years, bit of a wreck still. But every day I get up and I get on and I get the most out of every day. And for me, that's death, getting me out of bed. It's death that got me to write the book. And just the absolute really taking in that I'm here for a limited time.
Yeah.
And that I have got to and really making the most of this. Forget manana, it's, Well,
That's quite.
I do go with manana sometimes, but on the whole,
It's a
yeah.
strange way of thinking, though, is it? Because most people would say, life gets me up in the morning because I know I have to live," and you're saying death gets you up in the morning.
Well, only because he's shown how important life is and how precious it is
Yeah.
and how amazing the world is and how amazing my body is, even though it
Mm.
might feel wrecked, it can still go for a walk.
Good.
So yeah. And just the awe, I think that awe that I felt when I was waiting for my chemo,
Mm.
I didn't know what, just the absolute realization of how amazing life is
Mm.
and how privileged we are. How privileged we are to be living in this country and living like little queens.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so death has shown me all that.
Mm. I think about that when I think about my business. If I think about giving up, or if it's
Mm.
like, oh God, it's just so much hassle, it's too much work. I just think
Mm.
about women that are out there that actually don't have the opportunity that I've got.
Mm.
They don't have the chance because of the country they live in, or the color of their skin, or the way that they're segregated or discriminated against. And if they had my
Yeah,
opportunity,
yeah,
they
yeah,
wouldn't be giving up. So I
yeah,
do it for them as well,
yeah.
because
Oh, brilliant.
for me not to do it when I've got the chance, it's just me being blatantly privileged, isn't it?
Oh,
Definitely. It's like, oh, I can do what I want, and that's just selfish, basically,
yeah.
isn't it?
Well, maybe. I mean, yeah, I suppose writing this book, a big thing was, kind of like my life's work and trying to make that negative thing something positive. But
Mm.
I think my intention was to, try and help the patients and
Yeah. So is your book
started.
about, is it about your life, your journey, or is it more centered around your experiences when you start to get ill?
Yeah, it starts off when I was in hospital, and it is my story, and it is a catalogue of events that you won't believe. 'Cause it carried on after I came out of hospital, one thing and another. But also, I suppose for me, that was my almost like my secret plan was to tell my story,
Mm.
just dramatic dance with death, but then weave in all the secret bits I wanted to get in.
Oh, conspiracy now.
Well,
What's the
bit more
secret
sort
stuff?
of political come. Well, all the neuroscience about us being wired to connect.
Yeah.
I read a fantastic book by David Hamilton, Why Happiness is Good for You. And it was all about how when we're kind or when we think kind thoughts, we release oxytocin, which is good for our bodies and,
Yeah.
protects our hearts physically and all that. Just amazing stuff. And
Yeah.
how when we're kind to somebody, our body benefits as well as our mood
Mm.
and just how we're wired up to be kind. And I wanted to get all that in. I wanted to share all the stuff that I'd learned in my social studies degree and my master's, in
Yeah,
psychotherapy.
cool.
Felt so privileged to have had that education. Because it was only a fluke. It was only that I happened to be going out with a lad in upper six who went off to Wolverhampton Poly when I was in lower six. I stayed on at school to do my A levels because I didn't know what else to do and I loved playing hockey.
Yeah.
So, so I had no intention of going to uni when there's something that were mentioned in our family, it was just. But because I'd seen him at Wolverhampton Poly having a great time, I thought, well, this is a great alternative to full-time work. I'll do that. So feeling very, very privileged. And there were student grants back in my day.
Yeah.
So lucky. You could even get blooming housing benefit of it summer to keep your house on. I mean, just amazing. We were so privileged.
Yeah, I had a student grant, and the university was free, so
Yeah, exactly. I mean, good grief, how lucky were we? So
extremely.
yeah, just feeling very, very lucky and wanting to share all this interesting stuff that I'd learned in sociology and psychology and through the psychotherapy about. I
Mm.
mean, that were mind blowing how we tick, how we really tick, on
It's
the deep
important
level
to
of it
show
all.
people that, though, isn't it? It's not just, "This is what happened to me." It's also
Yeah,
how it opened your eyes and how it made you perceive things differently, and
yeah,
what impact that has on your life as well.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a bit of a cry, a bit of a call for us to unite to each other and create a better world based on this notion of us being wired to connect rather than as being these selfish, bloody hierarchical monsters that have to control each other.
Yeah.
I talk about hospital, I sort of try and compare hospital to the wider world. So I'm talking about the good wards where everybody were being supported, where there weren't any, oh, I'm not doing that, it's not my job, where
Mm.
managers were supporting the staff.
Yeah.
and giving them training and giving them trauma information and, letting them have a talk when someone's just bloody died rather than just carry on and whiz off to the next job.
Yeah.
So that, how their care then impacts on the patients.
Yeah, I suppose when you're in there for quite a while, you see all the different types of people in there, don't you? And the different way that people are treated.
Yeah. And how maybe there's some sort of hierarchies that are inevitable in the structured society, but the doctors don't have to lord it over the nurses. The nurses don't have to lord it over the auxiliaries. If they give each other the respect, the people that empty the bins, the people that are doing the cleaning, they're probably the most important people in the hospital, because with infection, their whole job's lost, isn't it?
Well, yeah, everyone has a role, don't they?
Yeah, and an equally important role in my view. That, as I sat looking out from the hospital bed, I was thinking, without you lot, we'd be, there'd be bags of rubbish piling over the place, there'd be rats running about. Well, that
I was
going to
say, when I lived in Greece, every year, without fail, the bin men would go on strike, and it would always be just at the beginning of the tourist season.
Oh wow!
And it was usually to do with pay or pension, something like that. But you just you don't think about the people that clear the rubbish. But when they don't do it, oh my God! And in Greece, when it's hot, and there's people coming that want to spend money, and the streets look a mess, and there's
rubbish. I can only imagine.
Oh, and it stinks from the rubbish, and there are, like you say, rats and stuff. All of a sudden, you do appreciate the guy that does that job.
Yeah, and in hospitals,
they should be appreciated all the time.
Yeah, disinfecting the MRSA, although they didn't do a very good job in my room, because I did catch that as well.
I don't know what that is, but I don't want to know.
It's a dodgy blooming. It gets into infections and kills people.
Oh,
when I went to hospital, just being a big thing on news about it, spreading through hospitals. And then I was lying in my bed thinking, Jesus Christ, how much MRSA is going up your nose, Trying to hide under my sheet to keep all bugs out, and thinking, well, this probably ain't going to work.
No, probably not. But you still survived, Jane. You're obviously meant to still be here. That's all I can say about that.
Well, it does feel like, not in a egocentric way, but it feels like my whole life has come to this point.
But why would that be about your ego? I mean, everyone has a reason to be here. Everyone's got something to share. And you shouldn't be putting yours down. Yours is definitely important. Yeah.
Well, it does feel like that, how all my education ties together as well. Do you know what I mean? Just having that education, and then, like I say, spending 7 months just sitting observing, and I feel like it did. And this passion I've got, the passion that I got from my granddad, whose poems I incorporate into my book. He died when I was day before my 5th birthday, actually. And he always wanted to write a book. And he always wanted to have his poems published. And I did send his poems off to a few places, but there weren't enough for a book. So I've just woven into my book.
Oh, and that's really sweet.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And you can really see where I get my thinking from. And my care for the world, and my passion to want to try and do something. And, so it feels like it's all come together, and this blooming book is my opportunity to say, look, come on, we can build this better world.
Yeah. I agree, definitely. And it just takes, it's one person at a time, isn't it? But that one person that you impact, it impacts people that they are in contact with. So you're impacting 10 people each time you impact one directly, which is great. Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired of the feedback I've been getting from my book about, it's really making me think. This is blooming therapists and social workers as well. It's making me think about my family. And you think, well, bloody hell, I thought you'd have reflected on that. And if I can get them thinking. And it's making me want to do more for the world. Your openness and vulnerability is making me want to be more open and vulnerable,
Oh, that's so cool.
Since I put it out in December, I've cried that blooming much, just, in a good way. It's just been so moved that it's actually doing what, I wanted on the tin.
What you wanted to do. Yeah. I mean, you don't know what's going to come next to you. It's just going to grow from there. So what are you doing now? What are you doing? So you've written the book. Are you working as well? What do you do?
I'm just doing psychotherapy on Zoom now, isn't it? And I was doing mindfulness training just before lockdown last year. I just got my outside loo finished that goes with my outside cabin. I've got a beautiful wooden cabin that I've just had lined in fresh pine, insulated. So this beautiful smell of fresh pine is all ready to go. Lockdown. So I'm not doing that just at the minute, but that's waiting.
Well, I suppose you can still sit in there and do some.
I do. I do go in there to do my meditation.
Yeah, you could share that with people as well, couldn't you? That'd be quite nice.
Well, I would. Yeah,
you're calm. They're going to be calm as well, aren't they? So
yeah, that's true.
Cool.
So yeah, look again, feel so lucky that I found work that I love.
Yeah, definitely. Takes some people a lifetime, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're doing it, sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, when I was a social worker, I remember that feeling of, God, I feel like I'm in prison, no time to do anything. I mean, it was ridiculous hours. It was, it weren't 9 to 5. It was more than that. But yeah, and thinking, what can I do instead? What can I do? And just feeling so crap because I couldn't think, what to do instead.
Then, I've been there. Yeah. Been doing something just because it pays the bills.
Yeah.
Thinking, what can I do? And I tried so many different things.
Okay.
And none of them gave me the passion.
Right.
To keep me going, like when it's not a good day or something, it's just, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not working. But this time, now I'm doing my coaching. It's when I'm in the zone and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It just flows. It's so effortlessly and it feels good and I feel happy and time goes by, but it I know it sounds daft, but time goes slower, if that makes sense. I feel that I can get more done in a shorter period of time because it's like time slowed down to get me so I can get everything finished. And I know I remember reading something once. I can't remember who had said it, but they were talking about time, and they were saying like time is, basically. I mean, we created time anyway, so and we can stretch and speed up time through the things that we're doing and our mindset. And it's true because when I'm doing it, I can be in it and I'm doing it and I'm coaching or I'm creating content or something. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I've finished everything that I need to do. That was like a lot of work, but it's only, 11:30.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, I've done everything I wanted to do today. So let's go for a walk.
Aww.
And that's the same, isn't it? When you find the passion and you're doing it, it feels different. It feels easier.
Yeah. God, yeah. And funnily enough, I remember going for my interview. I was going to look up various types of psychotherapy. And I just went to this one place and was very charmed by the director of the place and thought, this feels right. And it was, Tara, it was only when I came to do my first essay and we were looking at all the different threads that go into Gestalt therapy, Buddhism, existentialism, all the stuff that I'd been interested, that I'd like these had picked up in my first degree or stuff I'd come across, I've been reading about Buddhism, and it was all there in this one psychotherapy, all about being in the moment and working in the moment. Oh my God. And it was like, this was meant to be, this was meant to be.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that feeling of flow, just when you feel like you're flowing, when you feel like you're in the right place. And that book feels like that. I don't feel sort of, oh, look at me, I've written a book. It doesn't feel like, I'm sure my ego's involved and, because I couldn't have children, I think on some level I feel good having at least done something. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're proud of yourself. Why wouldn't you be?
Behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it also feels like, this is meant to be and this will just do its thing. I feel like I've chucked it in the river now and I don't know where it's going to go and I don't know who it's going to impact or how that's going to impact me, but I feel quite calm with it.
Good.
It's like my heart needed to do it. Do you know what I mean? My heart needed to do it. My stupid ego's going, no, you're going to look like an idiot. And it's taken me 10 years to get it out there. I've been writing it for 20 years. And I'd say 10 of that was just shame holding me back and thinking, who do you think you are, Aussie Yorkshire?
Oh, yeah.
My brain,
Little
who do you think you are? You're going to look like an idiot. Yeah.
Oh,
but then when I realised that was just my ego going, I'm going to look so stupid. It's like, fuck you, ego. Excuse my language. But we're not messing about with you anymore.
No, we got
My heart was going, forget it. Look, I'm sorry, ego, but we've got to do this.
Yeah.
And so I feel like slowly, I've managed to,
Good for you.
get myself in control.
Some people never get through that, and it's such a shame because there's probably so much that they could have done.
Yeah.
But they
again, death helps. Well, I'll be dead.
I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, Jane.
No, but just thinking, well, I'll be dead in 50 years, and so will everybody else that's read it. So does it bloody matter? Do you know what I mean? We put it in that perspective. I
thought you meant actually going through. I was like, no, let's not put that out there. Cure for limiting beliefs, death. Oh, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no.
A few world leaders helped as well, Tara.
Yeah, I'm sure. God.
Well, if they're having a voice and they're as batty as that, then we need somebody to put an alternative viewpoint forward,
Definitely. Yeah, and I think that's coming out, isn't it? And your book's really going to help with that, so that's great.
I hope so. I hope it don't put people off by it. It does get a bit political in the last sort of chapter. I'm a bit of a rant about.
Well, it's going to attract the people that it's meant to attract.
Well, basically. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. The people that won't resonate with your message won't get there. They won't find it. So how can they find your book if they want a copy?
Well, the best place really is 5 Leaves Independent Bookshop in Nottingham, who send things out. Oh, and they actually reduce the postage for people that are shielding or on a low income. Lovely place. And yeah, that's the best place. Or through my website, mindfulnessnottingham.co.uk. That's my mindfulness website.
Okay, that's pretty easy. So yeah,
but that's through PayPal.
Okay.
So there's a store page on the website, so you can get it there. Okay, and it's for sale on Amazon, but I won't tell you what percentage they're taking.
No, let's not. You said it was quite high. So let's just stick with the 5 Leaves Bookshop and the Mindfulness Nottingham. That's probably better. Well, I'll put the links in anyway.
Amazon are making enough from it to use their service to put reviews on. If anybody would, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, there is a review section, but I suppose they can review it on your website, can they?
Yeah, or on Facebook. I've done a page just with my name, Jane Pigford, on Facebook, and then there's also my Mindfulness Nottingham page, but the book is more on the Jane Pigford.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd really appreciate, Tara, any comments. If anybody's read it and thinks, yeah, we can do this for the world, or did you know that this company were blooming doing this, that, and the other, and or did you know that this company were good, that they were ethical, and we're looking into that, So I'd love it to be a place where people can share information on good buying and,
That'd be cool. All right. Yeah, we can put a link to that as well, can't we?
Humane practices, whatever they may be.
All right, my darling. Well, it's been so good speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Tara. I wish I could get to know you a bit better.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm sure our paths will cross again in the future. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, all right. Well, very much for this
thank you. I've enjoyed interviewing you. You have a fantastic day.
Yeah, will do. You too.
Bye.
Go well. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset, and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy, inspired, motivated.